on the great beaches of humanity, it's the colored stones that catch your eye.
This is the story of the Colored Stone, a club under enormous financial pressure that takes a wild leap of faith that will either ensure its success or quicken its demise.
What was it all about? Well, it had a curious beginning. Do you want to know the truth? Oh. In the side.
From barflies and gin joints to beautiful people in exclusive nightclubs, to the owners and the staff that witness it all, every bar has a life, and every life has a story. For 8 years, the owners of the Colored Stone, Diane Robinson, Duke Redbird, and Ron LeBlanc, have put their heart and soul into making their bar a comfortable haven for their patrons.
The most curious thing I think about this bar, more than any other bar, is its capacity to attract the apparently and disparate mad. Like, all bars have odd characters, but they're all caged in one type of uniform, so you can't tell how odd they are. But the nature of this bar and its acceptance of all kinds of people, you open the door and strange people walk in, and strange people seem to feel at home here. And I think this is what's so unique about the Colored Stone in particular.
It's very much like a home. It's very homey and comfortable. It has a nice feel to it, lots of couches. So a lot of people just become regulars. You know, they love the feel of the place, the nice atmosphere, so they just keep coming back and they hang out and they sort of become part of the Colored Stone family. Oh, nice.
There was something that I read in the newspaper, and it was about a multi-millionaire, and he made his money in Hong Kong, and he was retiring. And the reporter asked him, he said, "What are you going to do now that you've retired? You've got all this money." He says, "Well, what I really love doing is shooting pool, and I love listening to music." And he said, "That's what I'm going to do in my retirement, shoot pool and listen to music." Ron and I were reading the paper that day and read that. We said, "Hey, we're already there." This guy had to earn $1 billion to get to a point where he could live the way we do on nothing. And it was enlightening.
A bar is the salmon trap. It's where the river narrows and all the little salmon catch in that smaller, narrowed area. Everybody comes in here. We've got everybody. We got the cops, the robbers, like I was saying before. We got Mother Teresa. We got the lepers. We got the Sumerians and the Palestinians. Everybody comes to this bar. It's a multicultural city. All the world comes to us. Early times are so animated. Everything is a riot. You know, you hop out of bed and, you know, everything is just ceaseless, and all the decisions you make seem magical, and you're chasing your dreams, and it's just a terrific, terrific time. Well, that shit is now gone. It's 8 years later, you know. Building inspectors and health inspectors and unruly patrons and fights and marriages and births and, you know, just like Woodstock, for Christ's sakes.
Well, I think it's a lot more difficult than people think. I know when I opened the bar, you know, I was building the back room and I thought it would be, you know, busy every night, and I'd sort of wander around in a cocktail dress with martinis and I'd be the host and I'd greet everybody. But in the end, it was never like that. I was usually running around filling bread baskets. I was in the kitchen doing the dishes.
You don't get near as much credit as you do for your job. Hunka, hunka. Love from the king.
It has its rewards, but the one thing it does not have is it's not made out of that romantic notion that people have when they think about bars. And everybody wants a bar. Like, the romantic notion is this: I'm going to be sitting in the corner. I'm going to have my back to the wall. I'm going to have my own table. I'm going to have legions of Swedish bikini girls walking in front of me, in which I will be able to pluck any flower I want out of the garden. I will have the best of the whiskeys. I will be admired. You know, and I won't have to work too hard, and I will take home suitcases full of capital.
Look it, he's stealing my money. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? The black guy stealing the money?
This is horseshit, essentially. It's long, hard, smoky, and healthy. And it has just a little measure of all those nicely romantic things, but for the most part, it's easier stuffing tuna in cans.
We are entrepreneurs, we're managers, but we're also social workers, we're psychiatrists, we're witnesses, we're confessors. We become so many things to so many people in the course of a day.
I think the most complex side of it is the personal interrelationship side in bars, whether it's with the people that work in the bar, which is a whole kind of curious culture. You know, finding the right staff, finding the right bartender, ensuring that bartender's honest, making sure they have the necessary animation and people skills.
I love working here.
Good.
Management is great.
Management's great. Oh,
Yeah.
that's always good.
You know, and bars are personal, so the relationship between management and staff is very, very complex, very, very difficult.
Well, people ask me, should I go into the bar business? And you know, I say to them, don't go into the bar business unless you're prepared to commit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it becomes your whole life, because it's relentless. You cannot get away from it. It's there all the time.
But the owners are really never having a good time. You're walking around the whole night. You know, you're worried about people getting food. You're worried about the bar service. You're worried if there's enough people working. You know, if there's enough sales being made. So it looks like a party, but it's like a terrible party.
Every day is a crisis, no matter how well planned or anything. There's some crisis that develops.
We're in the business of recovering. You know, you have to be ready all the time. There's always sort of special circumstances.
It could be the plumbing, it could be the kitchen.
Things being burnt, things being late, people being late, people quitting, you know.
It could be the computers go down. It could be the city has run out of change and you can't get any, or
the hydro goes off in the whole block.
Hydro, yeah, or some movie company has moved all their trailers right in front of your door and you can't get into your own bar. I mean, it's a crisis every day.
The Colored Stone had problems. The lease had to be renegotiated. The bills were piling up. The patrons were fickle. The competition fierce, and the money was scarce.
Because the hydro called for the building.
You gotta be kidding.
No, they're gonna cut off the hydro unless you can get them a check by
Oh,
Friday.
Christ, that's gonna be a little tricky.